So, Jon Moxley is the AEW World Champion in a result that I think a lot of us weren't expecting. Bryan Danielson no longer a full-time wrestler, but why don't we look ahead to the future, okay? There's going to be a payoff for this Jon Moxley title reign. Who is going to beat Jon Moxley? Who is going to step up to this new group, this Blackpool Combat Club 2.0, 3.0 technically if we also count Regal leaving, kind of creating a whole new vibe for it, but who is going to step up? And who is going to be the one to defeat Jon Moxley? I have 3 names in mind. There's a wild one, a one that makes a lot of sense, and a one that I don't think will happen, but it's what I want to happen. So let's just get into this, shall we? We'll start off with the one that has been teased a little bit, and it's still continuing to be teased, and with the story from last year kind of incorporated into now, it makes a lot of sense. Orange Cassidy. Now, I know a lot of people are about to go, no way do you think Orange Cassidy can be AEW World Champion? If you would ask me, what, 3-4 years ago, I probably would have said, no, I think he's a great wrestler and he's a great gimmick, but do I think he'll ever be a world champion? No. Now, yes, absolutely, he could be, and I could see him being the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley. Orange Cassidy beat Jon Moxley for the International Championship, I believe. I believe he retained it. And Orange Cassidy ended up retaining that, right? And that's probably like one of Moxley's last big losses, right? Like, Moxley has really kind of been building himself back up over the last year. Obviously, he lost the IWGP Championship to Naito, but that's New Japan. That's kind of a different thing, right? I think it makes a lot of sense storyline-wise. They've kind of been building up Cassidy a lot recently. There was that bit with him and I think it was it Jerry Lynn? Who said, you could be the guy, you could be the man. And now, like, you've got Daniel Garcia and Private Party being like, we think that you could be the leader. And he's like, I'm not that guy. They're going to build him up to be that guy. Cassidy's going to realize that nobody else is going to step up, so I'm going to have to do it. He's beaten Jon Moxley before. They're 1-1, I believe. So why not? Rubber match. Orange Cassidy wins the World Championship. It doesn't even need to be a long run. Christian Cage is walking around with the contract, so, you know, he could cash in on Orange Cassidy, right? And this is like the beauty of whoever the World Champion could become, you know? Whoever dethrones Moxley could have like a 2-second run because Christian can beat them for it, right? It opens up to a lot of interpretation, but I really do think that Orange Cassidy is someone who has gone through a lot of growth since being in AEW. He's had world title shots before and people seem behind him, and they still seem behind him even to this day. So, you know, hey, if they put the belt on Orange Cassidy, I wouldn't complain. It's what I kind of want to see happen. But let's get on to the Maverick one. The one that I think would be crazy, but could be very interesting. That's right, we're talking about giving Hangman Adam Page another world title run. I think it's about time, right? Like, they had his reign end at the hands of CM Punk, and we all know how that went, you know. It be what it be. But Hangman's character work over the last year and a bit has been absolutely incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. And I genuinely think he deserves another run with the World Championship. Here's the idea, right? Here's sort of like my process, right? Moxley is all about trying to prove to people, hey, this isn't your company anymore, we're in control, step up or get dropped, you know, kind of thing. And he's saying you're either with us or against us. Hangman is against everybody, alright? Jay White, Swerve, Christian, he's against everybody. He doesn't care, right? It's Hangman Adam Page. He's crazed. He's delusional. He's gone off the deep end. And at this point, it doesn't matter who the world champion is. If somebody reminds Hangman that AEW is under attack from Jon Moxley, what was it that caused him to go all in on CM Punk? Was the fact that he was defending AEW from Punk. And it feels like he was doing the same with Swerve for a while. So imagine what he would do to Moxley and to the Blackpool Combat Club if he realized that AEW is under threat because of these guys. You could have Hangman win the belt, and then he could literally fight anybody for that World Championship. Jay White, Christian Cage, Swerve, Moxley again, Orange Cassidy, MJF, because Hangman is neither heel nor face. I wouldn't even say he's a tweener, he's just a man, right? He is a man who has gone through a lot of hardship. He's kind of been molded by it, right? He's gone crazy, he's gone off the deep end, and nobody is safe from Hangman. It would be going from one extreme to another by having Moxley, this dictator with the World Championship, to suddenly this lunatic with the World Championship and Hangman Adam Page. And it would make for a really interesting thing, because at what point do we all go, no, Christian should cash in, he should be the World Champion over Hangman? That's like the crazy thing, right? I do think the Hangman being World Champion would be a really interesting idea, and I really do think that this is a guy who deserves another run with the belt. Maybe now's not the time, but I think it could be. Now we're going to get into my insanely out there's no way it's going to happen, right, pick? Put down your pitchforks, put down your torches, okay? I understand, I'm about to get a million comments by even suggesting this. Wheeler Yuta isn't charismatic enough to be the world champion. He isn't that good. I've been watching Wheeler Yuta on Ring of Honor since 2021, alright? And I know that in ring, he has a lot, like, going for him, okay? I've looked at him since day one and I've gone, he's great once he learns a little bit more. And I think we've been seeing that over the last 3 years, especially since he's been in AEW. And I think, look, you might not think that right now is the time for Wheeler Yuta to be world champion. And I would completely understand, right? But who said that Moxley's losing the belt at Full Gear? Who said Moxley's losing the belt at World's End? Or Revolution, or Dynasty, or Double or Nothing, or even like, what, Forbidden Door, or All In, or All Out? We don't know when Moxley's losing the belt, right? For all we know, Moxley could be champion for like another year plus, and that would give Wheeler Yuta enough time to figure out who he is and what character he wants to be gunning for that world championship. We could even see Wheeler Yuta with like the Continental Championship or the TNT Championship at some point before he becomes world champion. If we're going down the route of Jon Moxley having a really long reign with the belt to really nail the point home that there is no hope for AEW unless somebody in that group turns on Moxley and takes the belt that way, then obviously everyone's going to go to Claudio, right? And I would love Claudio to be world champion. But my brain goes to Wheeler Yuta because he still feels reluctant. Like, he still looks like he's reluctant to do everything that Moxley and Claudio are telling him to do, right? Like, he still looks reluctant. He looked reluctant when he took out Darby. He looked reluctant when he was, you know, choking out Danielson with the bag. I know there were people that were yelling, that were saying that Darby was yelling, "Stop fighting Brian." That was Wheeler. That was Wheeler Yuta. He was telling him to stop so he didn't have to do it anymore. Like, Wheeler Yuta, they're clearly doing something with him, right? And whether that's him beating Moxley or him using the Blackpool Combat Club to get himself into a better stead before he can finally work with the people against them to take them out once and for all, I don't know. But I would love to see Wheeler Yuta with the belt. And again, right, this is one of those times where Wheeler Yuta wins the belt, and if you really, really don't think Yuta deserves to be world champion for that long at the time he wins it, then just have Christian cash in on him straight away, and then boom, you've got a storyline going in, right? Moxley wants Wheeler's head, Wheeler wants a shot at the championship, Moxley versus Yuta for a second time, #1 contendership typing, right? Like, there's so much you could do. And I think Wheeler Yuta is the long game investment. Let's talk about each of these three options and where they'd kind of be. To me, Orange Cassidy is if you're going to do it at like World's End or Revolution, that's where you do it, right? It makes the most sense from a theoretical kind of like a thematic kind of standpoint, in the sense that it's either the World's End of either AEW or the Blackpool Combat Club, or Revolution is the Revolution against the Blackpool Combat Club. So if you're going to have Orange Cassidy win, that would probably be a roundabout where you do it. If it's Hangman, then I would say it's probably Double or Nothing. It's probably around about Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door time, that you would put the belt on Hangman. Wheeler Yuta is like full gear next year type of deal, right? If you're gonna have Moxley be champion for that long, then Wheeler Yuta feels like the biggest payoff, and you build him up to be the biggest star possible, right? So that when he does beat Moxley, it's a big moment. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that any of my offerings are going to be the ones to dethrone Jon Moxley? Who would you like to see dethrone Jon Moxley? Maybe I'll do a few shorts on some of your suggestions. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was it. See ya.